This is the story of the day my daughter. My husband was working a night shift, so he left for work around 9 p.m. I stayed up all day from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. Sometimes I would feed her twice in an hour, so I didn't even lay down until around 1 a.m. At 2 a.m., the nanny hands me her and goes, she's hungry. I happily breastfed her, and then I go to sleep. At 4 a.m., the nanny runs into the room screaming, she's not breathing. The first thing I did before I even got out of bed, I called 911. I said, my baby's not breathing, get here now. And then I run into the living room. I was having Nellie sleep in a bassinet. I was having the nanny sleep on the couch. I run into the living room. She hands me Nellie. Upon looking at her, she was dark purple. And I held her. And her arms were just complete noodles. It was so disturbing to see. I thought maybe she's choking. I put her on her belly and I hit the back a couple times, like what they said to do in the child safety class. She was not choking. And when I hit her back, her arms just wiggled. I'm on the phone with 911, and the nanny is also on the phone with 911. We're both panicking, screaming. I go to my front porch and I just started screaming, help me, somebody help me. And then at this point, I realize I have to tell my husband. I have to tell him and I have to call him. He's at work. I call him and I said, Nellie's dead. I knew she was dead when I held her. I said, she's dead here now. He was like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. The cop that came in instructed him to head straight to the hospital. I call my mom and I tell her, I said, get over here right now. She walks in, she goes, what's going on? I said, Nellie's. I said, let's go to the hospital right now. We drove there. The hospital was about a 15 minute drive away. It felt like a 3-hour drive to the hospital. The whole time we're driving, I'm on the phone with my husband saying, what are the doctors doing? Or is it working? Is she okay? And he said, they haven't told us anything yet. Just come here as quick as you can. I get to the hospital. He wheeled me to this little private room. My mother and father-in-law and my husband and my mom. I look to my husband and I say, what's going on? Is she okay? Is she okay? And he hugs me and he goes, she didn't make it. I immediately started screaming as loud as I could. It was the most painful day of my entire life. The doctor came in and we asked what happened. What happened? He said he thinks her heart just stopped. She clearly had an underlying birth defect. And he said something to me. It comforts me a little. He said, I'm an emergency room doctor. I could have been standing there over her body, watching her sleep. And if I had noticed she stopped breathing, he said there would have been maybe a 1-second time for intervention to save her. He was like, it's not your fault. And then they say, do you want to say goodbye to her? I was like, yeah. I petted her head. And I kissed her goodbye on her head. This story is not easy for me to tell. This is my story, and I'm just telling it. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to. And just in case any of you are interested